It lands on your ceiling out of nowhere, long dangling legs, a body that looks like a mosquito that spent the summer at the gym, and every instinct in your body says the same thing: kill it before it bites you. So you grab a shoe, or a rolled-up magazine, you swing, stop. Because that giant mosquito on your wall, it isn't a mosquito at all. It can't bite you. It has no interest in your blood. And the thing you're about to squash might be one of the most harmless creatures that will ever wander into your home. This is a cranefly, and almost everything you've been told about it is wrong. Here's the first thing that catches everyone off guard. That mouth you're worried about, the needle, the stinger, the little syringe a mosquito uses to drink from your arm. A cranefly doesn't have one. It physically cannot pierce your skin. There is no weapon on this insect. None. So when people search, "Does a cranefly bite?" and thousands of people type that exact question every single month, the answer is no. Not usually not. Not only the females, no. It is built without the equipment to do it. And that nickname, giant mosquito, it's one of the biggest cases of mistaken identity in your whole backyard. A cranefly isn't a mosquito's bigger cousin. It's not a mosquito at all. Different family entirely. It just happens to share the same skinny legs and the same fragile little body, blown up to a size that makes your brain scream danger. But hold on, because if it can't bite you, then what is it doing? Why is it here? Keep that question in your head, because the answer is where this gets strange. First, let me show you why it looks so helpless. Those legs, 6 of them, impossibly long and thin. Notice how easily they snap off. If a bird grabs one or you brush it with your hand, the leg just detaches and the cranefly keeps going. That's not a flaw. That's the plan. Those breakaway legs are an escape trick, a way to slip out of a predator's grip and live another day. This animal isn't built to fight, it's built to run. Now watch how it flies. Clumsy, bumbling. It bounces off your lamp, tumbles across the window, crashes into the wall like it's had one too many. A mosquito hunts you with precision. A cranefly can barely steer. That alone should tell you these two insects are living completely different lives. And here's the part almost nobody knows. That adult cranefly, the one on your ceiling right now, is running out of time. Most craneflies live only a few days as adults, sometimes a week or two. That's it. And in that tiny window, most of them don't even eat. Many adult craneflies have mouth parts so reduced they can't take a real meal at all. They might sip a little water or nectar, but food isn't the mission. The mission is to find a mate, and then it's over. So this giant mosquito that terrifies you, it's not here to feed on you. It doesn't have the time and it doesn't have the tools. It's living out the last chapter of its life in your kitchen by accident, drawn in by your lights. Now you've probably heard the other story, the friendly one. Oh, that's a mosquito-hawk. It eats mosquitoes. It's on your side. People love that one. You'll hear it called a mosquito-eater, a skeeter-eater, a mosquito-hawk. I have to be honest with you, that one's a myth too. Adult craneflies don't hunt mosquitoes. They don't eat them. Most of them barely eat anything. That charming little legend, the one that made you feel better about the bug on your wall, it isn't true. The cranefly isn't your backyard's mosquito assassin. So now you might be thinking, wait, it doesn't bite me. It doesn't eat mosquitoes. It barely eats at all. Then why on earth should I care if it lives or dies? That's the right question. And here's the real answer. The cranefly you see isn't the important one. The important one is the one you've never seen. Before it grew wings, this insect spent most of its life underground, or in the mud at the bottom of a pond, or tucked into the damp soil of your own lawn. In that stage, it's a fat, tube-shaped larva, and gardeners have a name for it, a leatherjacket. Tough little skin, no legs, quietly living in the dirt beneath your feet. And down there, it's doing a job that keeps your whole yard alive. Leatherjackets feed on decaying plant matter, dead roots, rotting leaves, the organic mess that piles up in soil. They break it down, they recycle it. They're part of the invisible cleanup crew that turns last year's dead growth into next year's healthy earth. Without decomposers like them, that material just sits there. The soil your garden depends on is built in part by creatures like this one, but it goes further. Because those larvae packed into the ground by the thousands are food. When you see a flock of birds stabbing at your lawn in spring, pulling something out of the grass, a lot of the time that something is a leatherjacket. Cranefly larvae are a major food source for birds, especially early in the year when other food is scarce. Starlings, robins, all sorts of hungry beaks depend on them. So follow the chain. Fewer craneflies means fewer larvae in the soil. Fewer larvae means less food for the birds that scour your yard. Kill enough of them and you're not just swatting one clumsy bug. You're pulling a thread out of the web that makes your garden work. Now, I'll be fair with you because the truth cuts both ways. In really large numbers, leatherjackets can chew on grass roots and leave brown, damaged patches in a lawn. In some places, they're treated as a turf pest. That's real. But that's a numbers problem in the soil. It has nothing to do with the single adult fluttering around your porch light tonight. Squashing that one adult doesn't protect your lawn. It just removes a harmless insect that was days away from dying on its own. So here's where we land. The next time that giant mosquito comes tumbling through your window, remember what you're actually looking at. Not a biter, not a bloodsucker, not a threat. A short-lived, fragile insect that can't hurt you if it tried, and whose children spent months quietly feeding your soil and your birds. Cup it in your hands, carry it to the door, let it go. Because the scariest-looking bug in your house tonight turned out to be one of the gentlest, and once you know that, you start to wonder how many other creatures you've been getting wrong this whole time. There's one hiding in your garden right now that people fear even more than this, and it might be the best friend your plants have ever had.